Been a while. How you guys doing?
Tell them how you're doing.
So I don't have a lot of time because I'm getting ready to hit the road. I found some M45 parts. I'm going to go get them. We'll go over them later. Right now, we're going through another debacle. I know I've went over it in the past about Ashley's Camaro. What it boils down to is apparently it switched hands really fast a couple of times and then got sold at auction before the DMV paperwork got processed, and there was a bad check written in that process where it switched hands so many times. So they already issued it as salvage title and then sold it at auction. And when we got it, and then we were told that our registration was being revoked and that we owed $1,300 for a bounced check or a bad check, and it wasn't us. So we've been fighting with them. They said they fixed it. This was like a year ago. I had to go to the state rep's office and stuff. Now we have been fighting with the DMV for 2 weeks now because Ashley got pulled over by the local cops because her plate wasn't legible to read. Then they told her that her plate is showing up as expired in their system because of a bad check. We had current registration and everything. How did we have a current registration if it's no good? So apparently they didn't fix the issue, they just masked it. So now the cops told us we had to apply for a new plate. We applied for it, get a letter in the mail before the plate even shows here saying that we have to turn our registration and license plate in because of the incident in 7/2017, which was this bounce check incident from somebody else that got transferred to us in the process. It's attached to the car title somehow, and the DMV is having a very hard time listening to what we have to say to actually remove this. So we've been fighting with them for weeks. The Camaro's been parked. Ashley's driving the SUV, so I can't take that to go get parts. I got to take the truck. It's very frustrating, and she's very frustrated because it's nice weather. She wants to drive her Camaro, but she can't right now. But and then things happen at work, and we sold gym equipment. There's been a lot of things going on, and I haven't been recording because it's just a lot of stuff going on. I have not touched the Grand Prix since the last video. We bought a new piece of gym equipment, which is going to be coming next week. I got to put it in. We have to disassemble this one tomorrow so that it can leave. We got a new heat air conditioning unit for in the gym, so it's taken care of. Stewie still wants attention. Don't you? Let's hit the road and go get these parts. While I'm thinking about it, you saw that I installed a cheap backup camera on my truck. The screen works good. Those wireless transmitters suck. Do not buy the wireless ones. It works for like a minute, and then you lose signal, and it does not come back on until you shut the truck off and give it a minute to cool down, and then they start working again. So if you're going to buy the cheap ones, get the wired ones. I looked online, found the wire that I needed for $6, and I am going to redo this wire through here, run a wire from the front to the back to the camera, so I won't have this issue. But they do work good besides that. Well, guys, it was a flop. I almost went through with it. It was new rims for the Infiniti. Guy went $270 for them. They had 2 brand new tires. 2 tires were shot, and they weren't tires I was going to use anyway. They were 19-inch like what's on it, 9.5 inches wide. They were deep dish, and they were bad looking. And one of them was dented, worse than what the Infiniti wheels are. So I almost went through with it and got them anyways. Just like I was like, I can sell these tires, and then I can try to find another rim. I started looking, and they don't make those rims anymore, and you can't find them anywhere. It was a Z SLT. And I'll put a picture of it up. There's 2 different versions of it, and I can't find that other one. I just passed on it, but he does still have them, and if somebody doesn't pick them up and I end up finding another rim, I might go get them, because they would look really good on that thing, but that sucks. He showed me pictures of all the rims, but the one that was bent. Some shady crap.
All right, kids.
So it's already late tonight because this is Friday and I got home from work, went straight to look at those wheels, come home, did a couple things, whatever. Got the parts washer cleaned off because we're about to use it. I'm gonna jump. Let's just jump into it. Huh? Back valve cover is the easiest one to get to right now. I'm gonna go ahead and take it off, clean it, do the valve cover, gasket, put it back on. Then the front one will get my engine hoist set up and hooked to it. Take that motor mount off, get that valve cover off, do it, and that's all I'm doing tonight. So let's do that real quick. Now there's two things I find extremely awesome here. First off, look how clean the freaking rockers are. Like, they're extremely clean. And then, look how clean the inside of the valve cover is. And you can see the gasket looks good most of the way around. Right here is a black spot, and it's like smashed flat. It looks like it was burnt. So, right there in the corner is where it was leaking. Everywhere else, it looks like similar to a fresh gasket. It just has a hot spot right there, which would be the back bottom side. And that's right where the EGR valve taps in. So, yeah, it just like burnt the gasket out. But you can see it plain as day. I'm going to clean this up as best as I can and throw a new gasket on here and new valve cover bolt gaskets and get it back in here. I cleaned that up and look how nice that looks. Looks like a brand new valve cover. So now the front one, I gotta get these motor mounts out. Well, one. I gotta get this one motor mount off. I wanted to show you that gasket. You know how I said that one spot was burnt? I picked it up and it fell apart. Right where that burnt spot was at. So right here's that black spot. It's charred. I mean, it's just like, I don't know if this is focusing, but right there's a piece of it. There's a piece of it. Look at it up close. You can see it's splitting. It's just hard, cracked. The rest of the gasket wasn't that bad, but I don't know. I can't tell if this is. It don't look like this is a blue one. I'd say they used an original one. I don't know if the Felpro is an upgrade, but that's what we're using. I don't need to put my engine cradle over this thing. I can take this one off. Look how you can see how much play there is in it already. Like there's not much tension on it, so I can take that off. It's not going to hurt anything. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So although this valve cover is a little bit dirtier, it actually was not leaking. If you look at the gasket the whole way around, it is uniform. There's no signs of oil around the outside. I mean, yes, we are replacing it. I'm going to clean this up. But look, like I said, there's absolutely no sludge. The engine looks clean. Hell, the mating surface even looks clean. But I will clean that up. It's nice to see. It's nice to see 160 some thousand miles, and look how clean that is. That looks wonderful. That's what you want to see when you break open a valve cover. Saved you guys some time and went ahead and cleaned this one off. Now, if you can tell, I clean these things so they look almost new. One way to guarantee that your gasket is going to have a good seal is to clean your part extremely well. So I took a little extra time to make sure that I cleaned this, and I will do the same with the upper intake and the lower intake. And if you can see them, they are fairly dirty, and I will probably clean that up as well, and some other things. That'll clean up the engine bay as well, so like there'll be less that I really have to clean to make it look good. You get what I'm saying? Like that back already looks really nice. Now when I get this one there, it's going to look really nice, but then I got to tear all that apart. Might get a little bit dirty again, but it's going to look like a fairly clean engine when I'm done. Plus, I'll know that my gaskets are getting a good, clean sealing surface. I wasn't thinking with my dipstick, Jimmy. I broke the dipstick. It was an accident. I didn't pay attention to what I was leaning on, and when I was cleaning the gasket surface, I was leaning on the dipstick, and right there it is. Looks like there should be more to it. Maybe I bent it over on purpose. Okay, nothing else came out with it. So it might have already been partially broken. But I'm gonna get one. That's why I bent it over for right now on purpose, so I wouldn't forget it. And I wrote it on my board. So we'll get to that later. We have reached our stopping point for the night. And it looks good. The valve covers all cleaned up, look really nice. Wait until that whole intake and everything's cleaned up. It's going to look really nice in here. So, it's going to look like a brand new engine sitting in there. I guess I'll go ahead and get online, order that dipstick for pickup tomorrow. I might just run to Huntington and get that myself. We will thoroughly clean the inside of the intake manifold now that we're taking it off. I just sprayed in there a little bit. You can still see some darkness around the edge of that, so we'll get it thoroughly cleaned this time. Yo! New day! What's up? I gotta run to Huntington to go get my car parts this morning. I haven't rode a street bike in a while, so I think it's time to get her out. Alright, so I just wasted like half of my day. I just took apart all of that gym equipment that I said we sold. People were here, we went and got that. Got it all taken apart. Then the gym flooring, I didn't leave enough space. The foam flooring, I didn't leave enough space on the edges for it to expand. And it flattened out and expanded, and it was starting to bubble up in the center because it didn't have room to expand. So I went around and cut all the edges around it. Then the air conditioner I had to run a drain hose for because the way that portable unit goes we got, it's a big unit, it's heavy. You can wheel it. What they want you to do is wheel it outside, pull the drain plug, let it drain, and then wheel it back in. That thing's heavy, and then on that foam, it's just hard to do. So I got a 24-foot clear hose with a shutoff valve, and I plumbed it into the back of it. And whenever it needs to be drained, she can run the hose out the door, drain it, and then wheel it back in. Well, just roll it back in. So you don't have to wheel the unit around. I can stay right where it's at. But the new gym equipment's coming Monday. I'm excited for that. This is it's brand new. It's going to be nice. And I need to finish this. So let's get started. Got it off there. The upper intake gasket doesn't look that bad. It looks pretty good, actually. I was looking at it here. I don't see where any of it was leaking. Everything seemed to be sealed up. So that's good to see. There's a couple gaskets you need to replace in here. I'm not quite sure which all ones. I'm going to have to look through the set. I'm not sure. No, that's part of that. But I'm going to thoroughly clean all of this. All of this is going to look like new. When I go to put it back in, it's going to be thoroughly cleaned. That does look like it is a Felpro gasket. It's just faded. It's teal. And this one's blue. As you can see. Oh, okay. I thought these were separate O-rings. They fell off of that gasket. They're still on top of the lower intake gasket there. Yep, that was another thing I didn't show you guys. I thoroughly cleaned this and put all the new O-rings on those fittings and everything. You can see how clean I got it. Really scrubbed it up, made everything as clean as I could get it anyways. So I'm going to do that with everything. Threw the new gasket on, got it all cleaned up somewhat. The inside's cleaned about as good as it's gonna get. One thing I don't like about that parts washer is that everything has to be water based. You clean stuff like this in it and you actually get the oils off of it and it clogs the filter, and that's why I have this bucket of water here to clean the filter off, because after it sucks so much oil in, then it starts plugging up and not letting water through. I need to go get some more 2+2. As you can see, it's all oily in there. I had to spray this down with 2+2 to get that caked off oil off that was burnt to the intake. Most of it's off. It's fairly clean. As you can see, you can see metal in there, but then it's also stained. So I got the new gasket sitting on there. It's ready to go. This is going to make a mess when it comes off, and that needs to be cleaned off, and I need 2+2 to clean that. So we'll run down the hardware store real quick, get that, come back, and then I'll take that off. Alright, so some of you know where I'm at, because we are live streaming right now. You guys made it on the video! Ha! 71 of you guys! But we got the lower intake off, cleaned it up. We're currently going to clean up the lower surfaces, and then we'll start laying in our gaskets. Alright, so the live streamer's still here. We cleaned up the mating surface on the cylinder heads here, and now we're going to throw some gaskets in here. You want to put some RTV in the corners of these ones and lay everything in here. They clip into place, so you don't have to worry about them moving around on you. Lower intake is in and torqued down. If you watched the live stream, you would have seen me doing it firsthand, because it's so exciting.
I had to look up the specs. But now we're going to work on the upper intake. I'm going to put the thermostat in first and put that back together, and then we'll work on the upper intake. So we got the lower intake, the upper intake torqued down, hooked up a couple things, got the thermostat in. I just threw the new O-rings on all the fuel injectors. So out with all the bad stuff, and honestly, I think those elbows were the only bad stuff, and with the good. Now, I have already started it, and it fired up, it runs fine, but I just fired it just to make sure I had everything plugged in, everything was good. I shut it directly off. I want to let this sit, since there's RTV in the corners of that lower intake gasket. I want them to have a chance to set up. 24 hours, whatever. So, tomorrow, we'll come back, fire this thing up, maybe take it through Mexico for a little spin, a little ripski, and we'll check it and make sure we don't have any leaks or anything. I'm kind of worried about the radiator. I think that one lower fitting, no, there ain't nothing there now. I filled the radiator up, and there's nothing on the ground, so maybe it is sealing. All right, then.
Another day, another dollar, ho. All right, we gonna start the Grand Prix. It's set for a day, and maybe take it out for a drive. So I've had her running for a good minute, and I remembered to tighten that up. I just did it. Put the bolt in the fender and everything. So we're good. I guess we'll just take it through Mexico. Yeah, let's go to Mexico. Boys, we almost took off, and I forgot to check the transmission fluid. It's definitely low, so I'm adding fluid right now, going through the gears, checking it, adding fluid, going through the gears. Until you drive it, it's not really going to get up to like operating temperature, but I want to get it like in the crosshatches before I leave. Alright, so I'm cruising at 60, air conditioning on. It's a nice ride. Now the front tires that have that have the good tread on them, they make a little bit of tire noise.
You know what I mean? Just the tires rolling, they make a little bit of noise. But besides that, there's no creaks or rattles or any weird noises. It's running good. Temperatures are good. I need some gas. I have to go see what the prices of gas are in Mexico. Alright, so it still has, when I first got it, the exhaust was rattling in the back, and it was because the exhaust got bent from the forklifts. It bent a couple hangers, and I bent it back as good as I could, but it must have settled back into place now, because now it's rattling back there again. So there's a couple little things I'm going to do off camera. In these next clips you're going to see, you might hear that sound, but that's what it is. I forget what the exhaust was actually rubbing. It might have been the rear bumper or the heat shield or something underneath, but I'll take care of it off camera. I'm not doing any more series on the Grand Prix, so enjoy this last little bit of it. Alright, so we did get a tire pressure monitor system fault, which I already see the issue. There's no tire pressure monitor on this wheel. That's a regular valve stem. So, I don't think we're going to worry about it. I mean, it is what it is. It's not going to hurt anything. So, I'm not worried about it. Besides that, everything worked fine. Now you can see drips running in there. It's because I had the air conditioner on, and it was working great. We have no leaks, and it has gas in it now. But anyways, that's the end of the Grand Prix. I'm not going to do any more content on it. The interior still needs cleaned. You will see an ad video, but that's it. So that is the end of this episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you didn't, go somewhere else. But anyways, if you did, go check out my merch down below the video. It says Teespring, and it shows little pictures of t-shirts. Somebody got confused and said they could not find the merchandise. No wonder I wasn't selling any. There's pictures. You can see them. They're right below the video. You just click on one and it'll take you to the Teespring page. It's very easy. But go over and check me out on Instagram at Unwracked Auto. Like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and we'll see you on the next episode.